The map in Odyssey is bigger than in Origins, but half of it will be sea. We can expect a lot of variation though on land, so I want to take a look at that. And there's also way more to the map with a completely new Conquest system, meaning that regions can be taken over by one of the two different factions, and you can then fight for them if you want. So let's go more in depth on that new system and show you the full map in this video. If you enjoy that, then a like would be super appreciated, and let's go. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is set during the Peloponnesian War between Sparta and Athens in around 431 before the Common Era, meaning that the world of Odyssey is in a constant war and you can help to choose one of both factions or fight against them. Good to note is that there is no good or bad side. In an interview at E3 2018, the developers noted to me that it's not the goal to win this war, but that it should help bring the fantasy of being a mercenary in ancient Greece to life. So if you want, you can give control to Athens, but you can also flip the map for Sparta if you want. You can also say, oh, I want Athens to get control over that island, but Sparta should get this land. It's really up to you. The idea of the system is that the world should feel alive and that you get the feeling that there is a constant threat. By hovering over the different areas in the map menu, you can see who has control over that region. And by zooming in, you will also see that there are some different regions in some of the lands as well. In the E3 demo, I could only see a detailed map, so including the icons of Delos and Mykonos, and those islands were already good for 5 hours of content. And this goes hand in hand with something that was said in a recent behind the scenes trailer for Odyssey, as I already noted in a previous video as well. Here was mentioned that the full game will be good for 100 hours, with Odyssey having more content than Origins. And if we look at the map, we can kind of see that as well. This is the full map as put together by Total Hitman on Reddit, because you can't show it like in-game because the zoom out doesn't go that far. So we got some huge continents, and you'll be traveling a lot by sea to get to a ton of islands as well. There will be 7 types of biomes that should make the world feel varied. We saw a more tropical style one in the E3 2018 demo, including the white rocks, a beach, but we can also expect some volcano islands, as we saw in the trailer as well. In the south, we can expect more of a deserty area. Summer mountainy area, very Greek looking biome is in Attica. And in the big Peloponnese continent, and I hope I pronounced that right, there we can expect more natural green flowers and lush environment. And on the Assassin's Creed Odyssey website, you can already see the 7 different biomes with the concept art, for example, of the volcano area. That looks really cool. Can't wait to explore that. Probably an area you can explore like on a high level. We got some pirate lands as well. I'll put a link to the website and the world section in the description down below, so you can check it out if you want. Oh, and who said that Assassin's Creed Odyssey would not get a Battle Royale? Well, here we are on the Assassin's Creed Odyssey website, the Obsidian Islands, the Battle Royale. Now, it would be cool, of course, to have a Battle Royale mode in Odyssey, but I don't think that that is what this post on the world section of the website means. I know some people on Twitter thought it, but sorry. So yes, the world in Odyssey is big, but the developers would not say if you can like explore the world from the beginning or after like a small tutorial like we saw in Origins, where we of course had to complete Siwa first. What we do know is that the areas are still level restricted like in Origins, so maybe that you can already visit Paradise Island at level 3, but that the enemies will like one-shot you, so yeah, you still have nothing to do there. Good to note, by the way, is that there will be enemy scaling, just like we saw in Origins, although in Origins it was like added after launch. So that means that if you go to an island, but that island has way lower level enemies, you can rank them to your level, so you still have a fair fight. I love this feature in Origins, so I'm happy this feature is back in Odyssey as well. There should also be a lot of underwater stuff to explore, as we already saw in the trailer, and there's also a dynamic weather system like rainstorms or a brutal storm on sea. So like I mentioned, we will also have some sort of forest area, and Access the Animus shared a video that they found on the official Assassin's Creed website from a Conquest battle in this forest environment of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That looks pretty cool. There are 27 city-states in Odyssey, so 27 regions where we can likely do these Conquest battles, and all of them should have a leader as well, and killing them will help get the nation power down, because in order to trigger these 150 versus 150 battles, you will need to lower the nation power of that region. And you can do that by killing soldiers, looting regional chests, or destroying their property see like weapon stands that also give you weapons, so loot them first and then destroy them to lower the nation power. And a few things are interesting about this conquest system, and one is regarding the leader that should be present in the area. He will namely have more bodyguards the higher the nation power is, so he will be harder to kill if the nation power is still very high. Meaning that it will be smart to lower the nation power first before you engage. The leader in the E3 2018 demo was in a small villa in the Mykonos region that was very well protected. But if you do a conquest battle while the leader is still alive, then he should flee to another location where he will become an easier target. So if there is a leader from Athens in the area and you take over the region with Sparta, then that leader from Athens will like flee, so he will be an easier target. So that could be a tactic, since there are multiple ways to lower the nation power without fighting the leader. You can also go to a bounty board, for example, that gives you objectives that will help you take control over the region. In this example, you only see an objective to take out some ships, but there should be more varied ones in the final game as well. For example, one that involves killing the leader, for example. As I noted in other videos as well, this system is endless, meaning that if you want the region for Athens, then they will get a new leader in that region. You can then choose to kill them or leave them be. The system should also work without you interfering, so I'm not entirely sure how far this goes. That, for example, the region can fall back in Sparta's hands if you want it for Athens, for example, but it sounds like that is the case. And that would also go hand in hand with the living world that the developers want to create, right? That things happen while not directly based on your actions. Another interesting thing that kind of shows you how free you are to engage in the system however you like. So for example, the region is under control by Athens and you destroy their resources, kill their soldiers, so their nation power goes to 0. You can then help them defend against Sparta that comes in because you decrease the nation power. So first you help Sparta by decreasing the power of Athens, and then you fight Sparta as they try to take over the land. It was noted that the rewards will be different depending on which side you choose. So if you want more Spartan-inspired gear, then you help kill the Athenian soldiers in war, and probably the other way around as well. Good to note is that these conquest battles should give you the best gear in the game, so engaging in this system is totally something you want to do, and probably at the end game as well, at the highest level, level 50. In the demo, these battles were not that hard. You first had to kill the commanders, so enemies that have a yellow icon above their heads. But since they are fighting with other enemies, you could easily just get your first hits in without taking damage yourself. You can also just slice your weapons around to get more a sense of war, and then other random soldiers will start to attack you as well, because in my experience, otherwise the enemies will just be focused on their opponent, so they will not like interfere with you. Killing the commanders though is way smarter because it's faster to win the war. In the end, you will have to engage in a commander that is in the back, surrounded by a ton of soldiers. Just focus on him and you can take on a super boss type of guy that does put up a fight. So it's not really weird that the conquest battle in the E3 demo was kind of easy. Normally what you see with these E3 demos is that the AI is toned down, since people just started playing the game, and to have them die all the time would not leave a good impression. But there's totally a promise here that these fights could actually become super tough later on in the game, where normally against a mercenary in this E3 demo it was a 1v1 fight. Now you also have to look out a little bit for the other soldiers on the battlefield as well. But that is all though. These conquest battles did look cool, but in terms of gameplay were not that special, not that interesting. The promise again of a good challenge is cool, but I just hope that we get more variation as well. It would be cool if the enemies could also charge towards you if you were the defending team, not just that you are spawned into a war between two factions and can just kill the enemies you want because the other enemies ignore you. You can do a ton of cool things, I think, with this system, but I did not see that yet in this E3 demo. It's also hard to say right now how deep this conquest system will be and how long it will take before you get like the hang of it, before you can kind of abuse it to get the best gear, or that the resources will respawn in the same location all the time, so that it will become like repetitive to take control over an island over and over again. Questions that I think will be answered when the game launches on October 5th. Although seeing another region before the game is out can also give a good idea of how the system will work in that region and if there might be some variation here and there. I'm sure it will add a ton of replayability to the game and also some extra things to do, because now on top of the locations you can complete by killing the captains, looting the treasures, you also have these resources to destroy. What do you think of the worlds and the full map and this Conquest system? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe of course for everything Assassin's Creed Odyssey if you haven't already. I will have way more content coming your way as we near the release of course and beyond. Drop a like to support the channel, check out my recent video on a new behind the scenes trailer Ubisoft dropped, and I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.